box in, but if you see a civilian plane and it says made in Korea, they'll have asked them to make the tooling and do all the work and then just ship it in a Revell box, which is what Airfix did for some of their tanks and for the
KT
ambulance. So there's Academy is up there, and I think that's what again is if praise be Scalemates, our Bible really when it comes to sourcing where the toolings come from, so you don't lose too much of you research what you buy. Before we move on to Helen, I better ask Alex, when was the last Revell kit that you built?
Well, the last Revell kit that I built, in a common theme here, wasn't actually a Revell kit. It was a Revell box, which had a Dragon kit inside, and that was the Focke-Wulf 190 D9 Dora.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, the old Dragon kits, which are actually old, I can't remember, but I mean, for their time, they were cutting edge, really nice detail. Fit was, sometimes a bit suspect, but once you got them together, really nice. So, yeah, I was trying to think of the last Revell tooling that I actually made, and I think it goes back to what I was saying about before. Those kits of the early 90s, early 2000s would probably be the Condor, the Focke-Wulf 200 Condor, which again is a lovely kit. But I don't think, it goes back to your prior point about where they're going. I think they reached their pinnacle at that point. They haven't really gone back to that level. They lost their way in the same way that kind of Airfix did for a long time. They got purchased, and I don't see them coming back to that sort of level, because then they were making innovative kits that nobody else would do, much in the way that Airfix are doing subjects that other people don't do. They specialize in British ones. Obviously, Revell tended to focus on German. They do seem to be doing more in the car sort of civilian stuff than the military, whether that's the mission that they're, kind of not up there and they're hedging their bets into, somewhere that was a bit more niche.
Well,
I don't know.
Revell had basically cornered the market on the quirky jets, hadn't they? So from the Luftwaffe, that was the end of the ones, the what ifs.
Well, and the bigger stuff, they did the Viking, the Blom & Voss BV222, huge kit, the Ju-290, massive maritime reconnaissance plane, and then, like you say, all of the funkies like the Flitzer and the Arado AR, the E555,
the NASA,
the BV194, all of those, and they were lovely kits. They also did around the 90s their 172nd range, and you still see those kits around. The Messerschmitt G10, ME109 G10, the Spitfire Mark V, the Focke-Wulf FW 190, the A and the F, and the ME262. They're beautiful kits. That ME262 I've got about 6 copies of. When they came out in the 90s, they were £3. But that's probably say $9.99 today. They were really, they flooded the market with them. They were the best kits you could get of that type then. But that still represents really the pinnacle of what Revell have done and are doing. I don't feel that they've gone past that. They kind of went through this, let's say, the Humbrol years that Airfix did, where they were just didn't really know what they're doing. They did that a bit more recently. And then since they've been purchased, I think they're finding their feet. They don't seem to have really found that niche, found their feet of where they want to go. They seem to be doing a lot of reboxing, which is understandable. They're making their money.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether that's going to cut it in today's market when you've got manufacturers like Airfix, Tamiya still going on. You've got ICM and all these other companies from Ukraine and other Eastern European countries. So I think it's going to be tough.
I think you make some valid points. In when you hear and you look at airfix, and they announced in their financials that they have a lot of overstock of kits. And sometimes I just think when they say, "Oh, we're going to release this," whether Revell are thinking we've got to get rid of this stock, so take the stuff out of the bags and just put it in a fresh looking box and do that to try and get rid of it. You know, I don't know. It's you know, running a business is tough, and if you've got stock levels, you've got to store the stock, trying to get out there. And if Alex, if you're like the average scale model shop owner, you will cherry pick the stuff that you want in your shop.
Yeah.
So overstock to them will be massive. 70 kits, and shall we say 90% of them are reboxings. It doesn't bode well for them. You look down through that list on ScaleMates, it doesn't just say rebox, it doesn't say new decals, new parts. They're pure reboxings. No, there's not a different scheme where Airfix seem to release it with a different scheme.
Yeah.
So you're going to get different decals, and after
Different
a time,
tooling.
then they retire them into. I presume they'll retire these kits into a vintage classic range where what you're getting is going to be an old tool and it's going to take a bit of work. But
the other thing, Moss, is that just speaking to Revell, and it's been mentioned several times about the reboxing, and so my dad got me into scale models when I was, 5 or 6, probably way too early. But I remember when I was probably maybe more like 7 or 8, I remember him always saying about Revell back then. This is back in the hazy days of the 70s. They had the same reputation then. This isn't a new thing about them doing reboxing, about them having loads of flash, about them having fit issues. At the time, the contemporary, I know a lot of people look back with rose-colored glasses, but they were still seen as not great. They weren't seen as the leading manufacturer back in the 70s and 80s. So.
Well, I can remember being shown it's conversely. It's obviously the Matchbox kits when Matchbox were at their heights before they went bust. Obviously, the Airfix kits were like, ugh.
Yeah,
horrible. Because
that crap plastic as well. People don't realise how crap the plastic was as well.
Yeah,
that ties in. I think if I think about all the years ago when I was building kits, I think the reason why I liked Matchbox kit was the plastic was pretty good.
Yeah,
in a Matchbox kit,
it was robust.
That's the word. Yeah.
I think the other thing that we need to have in account is the market strategy for Revell, as well as Airfix. Revell was bought by an American company, while Airfix is invested in innovating and get there with the bigs. I think Revell is just trying to recoup the investment. They had the molds, just get the kits out, while Airfix couldn't have that because most of the molds were lost from India to the UK. But I think that there's a part of that as well, of Revell just, we don't care, just pop out, get the money, and that's it.
That's a really
certainly
good
how
shout.
it feels.
You've got a lot of practice at cleaning up flash with Revell.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Skill in it, isn't it?
I
Just
can't remember when
quickly,
I built a Hella kit, so don't even ask that.
You become Mr. Miyagi. I mean,
just quickly, Tiger's raised a good point. I bought a Revell kit at the moment. Would have preferred a different manufacturer, but it seems like it's only Revell who does the early versions of the Leopard 1 in 1/35th scale, and it is a 2015 tool. Yeah, don't get me wrong. You're talking. This is the trouble with some of their kits 10 years ago were pretty sound. It's the decisions that are being made now by those at the top of the tree on where they're going to take Revell. When you get their catalogue, you get all this new boxing and everything, but you got a third of it with their drones, with their RC, with their 3D puzzles. They don't really know what they want to do. But don't get me wrong, Revell now is like Airfix back in the day where they were releasing everything. Not just model kits. There was games, there was toys, they were even producing, and I've got one here somewhere. I have the the flower models and stuff like that. It's it's
Tamiya
difficult.
do all those in Japan.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, Sean Talbot says, I grew up on Monogram when I lived in Vancouver, BC in the late 60s, early 70s. John Parker's right. The Revell P51 change. The P51B, 32nd scale, was a lovely kit and one of the best 51Bs on the market. But again, you're looking 10 years ago, isn't it? It seems to be that sway in what's being Reebok's previous to when they had a bit of a rise in their creating of tooling for different models to what's being released now. So if they could keep releasing those 10-year-old stuff that was pretty good, then maybe we'll be, maybe good. Been many minutes I did a Monogram kit, was pretty good. I think it was a B24, the last Revell kit I banded partway through. I've done some good kits from them, but it's been a long time. Fair enough. What about you then, Nunu? What have you built Revell wise in the last?
Revell wise, I built 2 ships, the Pilgrim Mayflower, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And I built another, the Golden Hin, I believe.
Yeah.
Which were fairly good for their age. And then I built an F-16, which was a bit of a trouble, and a Tornado, both Tiger Meat specials.
Yeah.
Which they were fairly decent, but I wouldn't go with Revell, not even the closest. But again, that's my experience. I might be talking rubbish because it might be the only kits I got they were trouble, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
They rebox a lot of ICM kits too at Revell and a lot cheaper. Yeah, I get that. They do as well.
They do a lot of Hasegawa kits like that as well.
Dan Usher would like to know who did the tooling and pressing for Eddie from Iron Maiden. ACF Nugget says, really interesting, if Revell removed their worst kits, listed tooling dates, they'll get a lot less hate. Yeah.
Hey, there's a really good point there. If Revell didn't box up their old shit, right? Say they drew a line and said 1990 and no earlier, and I would accept them even if they didn't do any new releases, because you're absolutely right. You can buy an ICM kit cheaper through the Revell. Revell have a larger distribution network as well. I'd be happy if I knew that they were all going to be ICM or Hasegawa or Italieri or Zvezda kits. I would buy Revell without hesitation then, because I know what I'd be getting, and it wouldn't be old Revell shit.
Yeah. Nigel's saying here, I think you're giving Revell a hard time here, guys. Who else has produced a 132nd Arado 130? Yeah, we talked about that. We have said that they have done these other kits that are really good.
Yeah.
We're talking really.
They did the Arado float plane. It's absolutely superb.
Yeah, but when was that produced? When was
Stunning.
that produced, though?
That was a few years ago.
It was
It's
in that
very hard. It's very hard to get.
I mentioned before.
So yeah, we've mentioned all this. The HE, all the reason, but are they still releasing them now? Have they done anything different with them? Have they added new schemes to them or anything like that?
No, it was a 2010 release, that Arado.
Yeah.
Last released in 2015. That's the only 2 times they've released it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. We're talking without backing, but we're talking about what's the future for them now, Nigel. That's what we're asking, because we went on to Scalemates and everything basically is Reeboks, not necessarily retooled or new parts or decals. It's very slim pickings, and a lot of it.
Sorry, Master.
Yeah, and the problem is that what are they producing now that's going, wow, I need that kit. The last thing we've seen, which was big fanfare, was the Hurricane, and when you ask people, it wasn't all that, and we just feel they've lost their way a little bit. And we're going to come on to Hella as well in a minute, but after, what did we say? It was 70 kits that they've released this year. most of them are just reboxes, not even new decal schemes or anything like that. So let's have a quick go back up. Yeah, 70 kits.
That's the thing, boss, isn't it? You know, as Nigel says, he's listed a whole bunch of kits here, all of which are from that time where he said when Revell were. I mean, I used to loathe Revell, partially because of my dad's sort of impression of them and my own personal experience. Yeah. Until around that time in the 90s, when they suddenly started changing and being innovative. They were all the shows. They were IPMS Telford with great big stands with all of their new stuff there. And they were fantastic. You know, they were doing full interiors for kits. And it was like, wow, the new Revell is amazing. And they were like that for about 20 years. And then it just seems that it stopped.
Why don't you come on, Nigel? I sent you an email for the link. If you want to pop on, Nigel, and have your 2 pence worth. I have sent you a link to it tonight. So if you,
I'll actually answer that one for Nigel. I know why they released the Luftwaffe stuff. It's because in obviously Revell obviously German. So all the big superstores like Kaufhof and that have a model section, and believe it or not, you go in there and it's wall-to-wall Revell.
Yeah.
So yeah, and guess what? They do Luftwaffe planes, all of them. So it's like essentially it's like going into obviously Model Zone or BTs of old when you used to have the big airfix.
Yeah. I've resent it to you, Nigel. Sorry, mate. I sent it to. There's 4 of you tonight. I send it to by email. Just maybe I've sent it again. This time I've not grouped you in with the 4. I've just grouped it single. If you think Revell is bad, apparently you've never built an AMT. Yeah, you know that.
Well, unless you built a reboxed Revell version.
Yeah. I'm totally open. As I said, I just don't see the future. They seem to be stuck in between. As you said, maybe investment. They want to get their money back as quickly as possible but they must have spent a lot of money getting those tools in those machines, reboxing them to ship them out. But you know, it's we'll see what Nigel's got to say. He's popping on, which would be good. London bus, brilliant. Yeah, I've not seen that. I must look at it. It looks good.
Yeah.
What I've seen.
Oz has done an absolutely stunning job of the engine so far.
Yeah.
Or one of the engines that you can
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He's done a beautiful Leyland diesel engine. It's like, wow.
I totally agree. I was blown away when I saw that.
Yeah.
It's the size of a matchbox.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that. What's the price of it though? It's £124. Crumbs. It's a lot of money, isn't it? 124 quid? Is that
85 quid on Amazon.
Are they?
Yeah.
Wow. Mind you, what red could you use? You couldn't use Ferrari red on that, could you? Jim says, I've seen Revell kits and Reebox versions that date back to the 1960s. I remember building a few of them in the mid-70s. Yeah. As I said, it's not a case of, you know, what they're doing. It feels that they seem to be stuck in that little rut on whether they've got to get the money out or not. I don't know.
Well,
but Nigel is right. If you're looking for something else, Revell can be okay, or Tallery, which I build a lot of. Yeah. Here he comes. There he is. There you go. Iron Nigel, how's you, mate? You got your calls right?
Just showing you off here a minute.
No, we're not dissing Revell. We're just saying that it's the future of Revell that seems to be a bit of a time. We look through Scalemates, and in 2023, 70 kits were released. 7 were new tooling. A lot of it was old part, reboxes, not even new fresh schemes or new parts to it. So we wondered where the future of Revell is. We're going to do the same with Heller in a minute. What is the future of Revell? They seem to be stuck in some sort of quagmire, not knowing what they really want to do.
Yeah, if my opinion counts for anything, to me, they have always produced some lovely, lovely kits. And it's like Alex said, there seems to be this chunk of time where they got this massive investment or something. I don't know. And then before that and after that, it's just. I mean, I've got a 196 Saturn V there, in the big toolbox.
Yeah.
And I got it 2021. I think it was 50 years since Apollo 11, and 2019, whatever. And it's got a new on it, and it's a 1960s kit. It's crazy. 1970, I think 1970, and it's got a new on the box. I don't know how they get.
Plasticard.
Sorry.
It's got a load of Plasticard in it.
Yeah, it has. But I don't know how they get away with it. So
the trade's description, right? They're
yeah. What were you talking about just now? Sorry, because I ran downstairs to get a beer, and I came back and my kit did 150 and James said it was 84 on Amazon.
Oh, the London bus.
London bus.
Yeah, the London bus engine.
Platinum edition one. Here's one, mate.
Wow, you've got one of you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, 76 quid on Amazon.
He made that engine look totally metal. It looked like a little metal engine that could run. It looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Well, this is the beauty of what we see now in scale modeling is we call them sub-assemblies. We love a sub-assembly. Everyone does. And I think Qatari went wrong by not producing an engine for that Spitfire that they did, because I think they've been hammered for that. But you don't think they should have done an engine? You don't think they should have done an engine?
The trouble is, and this is what Tamiya have done with their 48 scale kits. If you go and buy a 48 scale 109, you get an engine, but you can't put the engine in if you want to have the cabin shut. Because the trouble is with scale mod, the engine is the first. They put an engine on a bench, don't they? Build a plane around it.
Yeah.
And the sheet metal lot is so thin. And for reduced drag, they make the fuselage as small as they can make it around the engine. So obviously, to have an engine in a model kit, you've got to have the engine undersized, which everyone complains about. Yeah. All the old trumpeter stuff, the P38, the engines in that are tiny. Yeah. Even that Hong Kong model's Lancaster, the engines in that, they're tiny. So they could have made really, really thin engine cowls like Tamiya did with theirs. But it's their first kit. You've got to give them a break. Yeah. None of the 32nd Revell things have engines, do they?
No, and I think that was one of the things that people said about the Hurricane was doesn't have an engine.
Doesn't have an engine.
I do remember they did do engines.
They did.
They did a 1/32 scale Seafire. I remember building it, and that had an engine in it.
Bloody hell!
See, the thing is, though, Nigel, it's not just. I know what you're saying about that, but people look at the price of a kit and they say, "Oh, that Spitfire's £80 odd."
What are you going to say?
An engine.
Go on.
And the airfix 124 is 90 odd quid. So for £10 difference, you get a bigger you get a bigger plane, and you get an engine. That's the argument that people share. It's about pricing. But that Corsair was 60 quid. They would have said that's the best Spitfire at 1/32, 60 quid. But they went for £80 odd, didn't they?
Yeah. And it's probably the most accurate model Spitfire money can buy. It's certainly got the best instructions. It'll have the best colour schemes, best colour corrects.
Yeah.
But, I mean, from my point of view, Nigel, couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not paying 80 quid when there is what I would consider better value out there. And I do disagree. I think it is absolutely fair to compare eggs and eggs here, because we're, as buyers, it's all the same to us, right? I mean, it's the same as in the shop, right? There was a, what have I got? The Hobby Boss F14s and Tamiya F14. Tamiya is twice the price almost of the Hobby Boss. But you pay your money and you take your choice, right? And it's like smaller manufacturers do have larger overheads and are going to be more expensive, but they do also need to think about it's going to sit there next to another kit which could be 2/3 or half the price. How many people are going to buy their kit because it is, a 1/4 of a millimeter better in one dimension or another? There is a certain section of modelers that will do that, but it's not all modelers. I would argue it's not the majority of modelers, so they're restricting their market. So
I would agree.
It's a broad strategy. I don't know if it's a winning or long-term one.
I would agree it's certainly in one aspect. I mean, you look at Wingnut Wings kits. Everybody's like, oh my God, Wingnut Wings, wow. There's nothing really that special about them. They've got very, very little photo etch. They don't use slide molding. They're not that amazing, but the research and the work that goes into the instructions gives you this full package that everybody falls apart over. Look what happened to Wingnut Wings. Very expensive. Well, very expensive here because of our greedy importers. But, when you compare a 32nd scale Spitfire Mark 9 from Tamiya to a Wingnut Wings kit, there is really... no comparison. The Spitfire is far better. But
and you can buy it.
Wingnut Wings went bust. That's what I'm saying. If Richard Qatari keeps turning out 32nd scale single engine fighters for 80 odd quid, they're going to go down the same route. Because I built that Hurricane from Revell, as you know, and that is a beautiful little model.
And how much was that?
40 quid, I think. You probably get it for 30 now. I just ordered the BF 109 today from Revell, £26, purely because Airscale have sent me a load of resin goodies to go on it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get the kit so I can show them off. 26 quid for a 32nd scale BF 109.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? If you can buy, let's take the Revell, as we're talking about Revell Hurricane, and you're disappointed it's not got an engine and stuff. You can spend 40 quid on accessories and bits and buy an exterior, an aftermarket engine and things, and have a more detailed Hurricane than the Qatari Spitfire, which might be slightly more accurate. But are you going to go for the experience of building either a kit at half the price, which is roughly comparable, or something that you could really go for the same price? I think most modelers are inherently a bit I don't want to say tight, but we look for value, right? Apart from those things that we just have to buy, in which case we'll just self-justify. But most of the time we're looking for what we consider a good deal. And if accuracy is absolutely everything to you, I get the Qatari piece. But if it's not, I'm not talking about glaring errors, but I'm talking about, half a millimeter, wingspan, millimeter or two on length on a 1/32 kit is, it's like, come on, guys. Unless you've got them next to each other, can you actually tell?
Even if they are next to each other. I remember people going over here, weren't they? Everyone was saying that was 3 millimeters too short or something.
On the thing about Wingnut Wings, somebody left a comment on one of my videos about the whole Wingnut Wings debacle. Apparently, at the time, Peter Jackson had a company replicating planes 1-to-1 scale.
Yeah, he still has.
Yeah, he still does.
And that company, one of the guys at that company fleeced him for millions.
Right.
And apparently he had to choose he had this new accountant come in saying this guy's stolen all this money from you, and he had to pull back on the money going to Wingnut Wings and invested it into this scale, building vintage.
Well, I've seen the video on here on YouTube of the amount of research they do and the attention to detail they to get to restore these to build these they're essentially new build World War I warplanes, and the research they go to build the engines and whatever else. It's all that research material. It went somewhere.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, Wingnut Wings is still a registered company.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson is still the owner. The website still exists. Wingnut Wings could reappear like that.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone anywhere. It's still there. It's just ceased producing kits, and it got rid of all its staff.
Who then moved on to Qatari, yeah?
Some of the staff went to Qatari, yeah, and there's a very wealthy vet, funnily enough, in New Zealand that has put the money into building this company called Qatari. And Richard Alexander, who I regularly speak with via email, is now the MD of Qatari.
Right.
And they're doing exactly the same as Wingnut Wings. They have a Chinese tool manufacturer, and then they have a Chinese molding company, and they have the tool manufacturer make the tool. The molding company does the molding. But I mean, their quality control is probably one of the best on the planet. The manufacturers of the tooling, I've got a couple of books all about it. They put, they have like 3 lots of test shots before they're happy.
Well,
What's
I
your
think
tailor?
More, it's 6. Yeah, because they make the tooling out of, and originally made the molding out of copper.
Right.
It's obviously cheaper to alter it, and they do 6 toolings before they sign it off. They're happy with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you say Wingnut Wings is still a registered company, Nigel. It kind of brings up an interesting question, doesn't it? I did this in the video I did on airfix. It's just like, well, what actually is a company? Because if all the people have left, and it's got a name and a website, but can you really say that that's the company? Because when it starts, it's not going to be the same. As you said, the research that goes into it, really, the company is the people within it, right?
That company was Richard Alexander. Full stop. I mean, yeah, there's some fantastic designers and CAD guys in that. But the research and everything had to go through Richard Alexander. He was the final word on everything. And I mean, that guy is Mr. Accurate. He's unbelievable. But the company, as the company name, the brand, all still exists.
Really?
Yeah, but that's it. It's the brand, isn't it? I mean, it's like comparing Airfix today with Airfix in 1960. There is no comparison. They are completely different. The only thing that is the same is the name.
Is the brand.
Yeah.
But if I mean, it won't happen. But if Peter Jackson got all his people back and revamped the company, it would come back the same.
Yeah, that would never happen.
No. Wingnut Wings was started by Peter and Richard Alexander, wasn't it?
But I suppose bringing this back to Revell for Moss, you can't go through the same thing with Revell, though, does it? It's been through, 2 or 3 management buyouts in the past 15 years? So is it really even any more than a brand at the moment?
Are they still Revell GmbH?
No, they're Revell Carrera now.
Yeah. Because it was always... The Revell GmbH kits were always better than the Revell kits, weren't they?
Yes.
The 24th scale car kits, some of them were American Reebok sort of monogram kits, and they were never as good as the Revell stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you get some of the discrepancy in 124th and 125th.
Yeah,
that's what we were talking about originally. Is that what is the scale? 124th, 125th. We get pissed off in this country because Airfix released 176 and 172. I can see them going boom for 124th and 125th elsewhere. Yeah. The thing also is, did Peter Jackson do wrong with Wingnut Wings by concentrating on
very careful what you're saying, boss?
Yeah, were they wrong in going for World War One planes? Would they have made a lot more money going for World War II and maybe some Cold War jets instead of focusing on the World War One stuff?
Probably, yeah. But World War One was his passion. And then he was going to do a remake of Dam Busters. So he actually had 10 full-size Lancasters made. Copies for his film. Yeah. They've all probably been crushed now.
He's got a lot of spares from Kermit Weeks and other people who had Lancasters.
Yeah.
Or correction, he's got Lincoln parts out there from Kermit.
Yeah, but be very, very careful what you say.
Mm.
There have been people that have talked about him doing something wrong with the government or something.
Yeah,
And
somebody put something up on the chat then. I didn't put anything up but somebody said that there was tax evasion or something. So I don't know.
Anything else?
Yeah.
So
I mean, everything we say is our opinion, and unless you're going to actually libel somebody.
I'm not libel. I'm just saying. I just heard that he got fleeced by a lot of money, and he decided not to go any further. And and it's a shame, but. I believe that a lot of the tooling is still held by a particular Chinese company who's going to release it under a different brand. So, because I think there was one tooling that wasn't released. That was then released by somebody else.
Made by a Chinese company, yes.
Yeah.
The company. There were three kits being produced when they went bust. It was the Fokker DR1.
Yeah.
Lancaster and the Handy Page 100 or 400 was it?
400.
Big thing. Which I want. I want that kit.
Yeah. So do a lot of people.
So Border Model bought the tooling for the Lancaster, and as we know, that's a finished tooling. It's not finished. They've got it pretty well sorted now. And then Meng bought the tooling for the DR1 and then made some changes to it. So I don't know how far. I mean, I've seen a test shot of that Handy Page 100.
Yeah,
I made a video about it, if you remember. And
you did. That was last year, wasn't it?
No, that was 2018.
Right. Okay.
Years ago, Moss.
Yeah. You know what? I binge watched you anyway. Now I binge watched you. So depends what come up next on the next. After. But yeah, at the end of the day, as I said, somebody's been asking here, if you want a model of a Spitfire Mark 1 in 1/32nd, then it's sort of irrelevant what Tammy has done, or for what that matter, that Revell has a much cheaper 1/32nd scale Hurricane. What are the other options?
I don't know what Russell means there. What does he mean? It's sort of irrelevant what Tammy has done.
He's saying, but I think what he's saying is that it's irrelevant which manufacturer's done what. What he's saying,
if you want a Spitfire Mark 1 in 1/32nd scale, the only one is Qatari. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
You can go and get if you want a 1/32nd scale Spitfire, go and get one of the Tammy ones. They're the best on the planet. If you want a Mark 1, you're not a Mark 9 or a Mark 8, are you? Or a Mark 16, whatever it is. That's what he's saying.
I think one of the things with what Nigel brought up there, though, about the passion for World War I aircraft with Peter Jackson is really relevant to the Revell and the airfix piece, the kind of whole bit. Because if you think Peter Jackson made those because he had a passion for them, and that came through in the way that, who he employed, his oversight of it, deciding what they were going to do. And that's why they were such good kits. And if you look at the way that Airfix have made a lot of their kits recently, it's the same sort of passion, the same sort of diligence. Yeah, they make some mistakes and stuff, but cut them a break. Their heart's in that place. And what I'm not seeing and not feeling from Revell is the same thing at the moment, and it is that sort of passion that they did have around the turn of the century, when they were bringing out these amazing kits like the Arado, like the the 32nd scale ones, and the 1/72nd scale, big flying boats and things. That showed passion and diligence and research. And do we see that in the same way? I'm seeing it more in the cars, like we said, the London bus. But I mean, that's a very different sort of market. There aren't that many of us that do big 1/32nd scale, aircraft and stuff, and London buses. They tend to be relatively separated. So, do we need an injection of people who are passionate about subjects at Revell? Will they get that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've just remembered something as well. We talked about all these lovely 32nd scale Revell kits, and then they did the F-18. Oh yeah, What a complete and utter pile of dog crap that thing is.
Oh, put a certain modeler in hospital with that one.
Sorry?
Phil Flory in hospital.
Yeah. I mean, they've actually got in the instructions where to remove the flash.
Yeah.
Guess what's the
Oh, bless him.
They've actually got in the instructions, if you watch any reviews on it, they show you where to remove the flash. And you've got to shorten the bulkheads because they don't fit inside the fuselage. They're too big. The undercarriage is it can't support its own weight. The rear of fuselage is all out of shape. The fuselage around the canopy is out of shape. It's an absolute pile of crap.
How did Phil Flory get put into hospital then? Because of that model, what did he do?
He had heart. Unbeknownst, he had high blood pressure.
Right.
And he was taken ill
because of that model. It was firing him up that much.
We pulled his leg over it because he said it bloody killed you. Because he came out with the thing. Every year he does a theme. He said this year it's go big and go home, and we said it was go big and he went to hospital.
Did he build it?
He did build it. But then he had the undercarriage collapse, and he had to put a clear resin piece of perspex underneath the fuselage.
Yeah, it is a pile of shit.
Because he finished it, he had it sitting there, and he walked out the room, and it went thunk.
Yeah. If you look at my build, I've put wire in the undercarriage and bent it up in, so it's really strong.
Yeah. Well, as I said, hopefully Revell will find their way in all this. As you said, they were bankrupt 3 times, taking over 5.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we'll see something better coming from them next year. And
I will say they have got amazing customer service.
Yeah,
spare parts and stuff. They are amazing. But saying that on that
that's because they have to practice so much, Nigel.
The rings around that go just in front of the exhaust nozzles on my F-18 were absolutely covered in sink marks. So I sent them photos. I said, "Can I have some replacement parts?" Yeah, no problem. We'll send you them. They sent them, and the ones they've sent me are even worse.
That is good customer service. That.
Oh yeah.
Right. Anyway, we're going to touch on Hella now, because Hella's been brought out this year. And if we go over to my screen,
There's so much to the trumpeter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glow 2B.
Yes, great to see Jess.
It is great.
2019 model.
Saying hi to Jess.
So here we go. Scale mates this time. And if we scroll down, 28.
No, don't quick. Shift past that because Wayne Wendy will get excited.
Where's Mark?
So
stay there, Jess.
28 kits announced, right? So model set, new box, model set, new box, model set, new decals, model set, model set, model set, model set, model set, model set, new box, model set, model set, model set. Keep going down. New decals in the Ukraine one, but obviously it's a model set. So you can see here that VAB, I built that years ago. I thought that was a pretty good kit, to be honest. When I built it, I thought it was all right.
Can I ask what is a model set?
A model set is where they've grabbed the tools and they've added paints, a brush, and some of their cement.
It's like a starter kit then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a gift set. Set.
Okay.
So, yeah. Nothing new. They've got one kit that they mentioned, which was going to have the Z wings, and I can't remember which kit it was. They announced it in their video, didn't they? But no one's seen it yet, have they? I can't remember what it was.
Oh, the Hawkeye.
Hulk, yeah.
Hawkeye.
It had the floating wings, didn't it? It was that 1/72 scale as well, wasn't it? It wasn't 148. The EC2 Hawkeye.
Yeah. But
this year, absolutely nothing. Being taken over by Glow 2B, but basically that on scale mate for 2023, released this year, there's nothing new. just reboxing of kits. So go on here for because they've gone on the bandwagon, I guess, with the Ukraine stuff, haven't they? They've jumped on the bandwagon. So click on this. This is VAB 135th. That was a 1990. So it's a 24-year-old tooling, that one. But it's not bad. It's all right, actually. It wasn't too bad put together. That's the one I did years ago, going by the box art. It just seems a real sad shame. I don't see Hella coming back unless they pull something out of the box. But who's Glow 2B anyway? What is Glow 2B?
Glow 2B is a German company.
Yeah.
They
And
do
what
plastic toys. So they do plastic toys. The distributor as well.
Are they?
you've got Glow 2B, Monochrome, and what's the other one? Gallery models.
Gallery.
I think they've all been bought out by Trumpeter. It's like you've got I Love Kit, you had Merit, you've got Hobby Boss. They're all wings of Trumpeter, aren't they? And they.
Yeah. Well, Zhongshan Yatai is the parent company.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that they own Trumpeter as well? Do they?
Yeah,
Right.
and they also make electric motors for boats.
They don't like to diversify much, then, no.
Mm.
But the first time I'd really heard of Glow 2B was when the Yamato came out, because the Japanese and the Chinese aren't very happy about each other, are they?
No, that's right.
And the Trumpeter will not release a Japanese ship. So Monochrome, Gallery models, and Glow 2B are the people that have done it.
Mm.
Same here, Nigel. I hadn't heard of him before until the Yamato came out and had these different distributors based on or labels or brands, whatever, based upon where you were and in the world.
Yeah.
And, wow, what's Glow 2B? Yeah.
What did I buy recently? I bought a kit recently, and it came with Glow 2B on the box.
Yamato.
No. What have I bought recently?
They're probably a distributor, Nigel.
Well, they do
well.
make their own stuff as well, Glow 2B.
Sorry?
They do make their own stuff as well.
Mm.
I reckon they're just boxy Trumpeter stuff, aren't they?
There might be the case.
With the kits, I mean.
Mm. It might be the case.
Because it was strange that the Monochrome and the Glow 2B Yamatos have got different instructions and different decals.
Mm.
It's exactly the same.
And a different sticker on the box.
Yeah. Yeah, nowhere on the box does it say Yamato.
Yeah.
What the hell did I buy recently? It came with Glow 2B on it.
If Hella did vintage classics, they are head and shoulders there for the time. Well, they were, believe it or not, Hella are releasing a kit this year. Well, not releasing it, but reboxing a kit that was originally an airfix release. They seem to have that tooling never got sent over to airfix at the time. And now they've cleaned it up and they're going to release it. I can't remember which one it was, but it was an airfix kit.
Jaguar GR1.
That's the one. Well done. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah.
I've got the Airfix Land Rover here. That's Hella, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Hella. Because that was the thing. People, if you go back, Airfix never released a Land Rover, their own tooling. It was always Hella. They bought JB models and released them in 176 or 172 scale. They did bring one out with the Bloodhound, and they did bring a 148 Snatch Land Rover out when they did their Afghan.
One of those.
But all the other Land Rovers that Airfix ever released were other manufacturers or a tooling that they bought off somebody else. In fact, I've still got it here. I think I got it here somewhere.
Why haven't they re-released that bloody Land Rover? God.
Well, that 148 one.
It's one of their best kits they ever made.
I've got one up there.
I know you have.
Yeah, it's you can do a lot with it as well. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you know, it's a shame. They won't release it. What's that? Sorry.
There's 2 in the box, isn't there?
No, there's only one. I think there's one with yeah. Hang on. Yeah, one Land Rover. Plus, you get all the figures with it as well.
Right. Did they do one with 2 in the box?
The
Just
quad
thinking
bike.
of the ATV.
Right. I don't know where I got that.
The little quad bike.
Right.
Yeah, the quad bikes. You got 2 quad bikes. One with with 2 trailers. One with accessories in, and one with a bed on it. So, I built that quad bike. It was really nice little build. It was really good fun to build it. And you're thinking it's 148, but it's no bigger than your thumb. Do you know what I mean? When it gets to that, you know, if they did it in 1/72, we'll be floored. Like, you know, you never do like that. Like, you're trying to get it in.
I was just thinking then I did the Bloodhound when I was a kid, the Land Rover. And that Land Rover must have been about 1.25 inches long.
Yeah. In fact, you could probably have built that. They could have done that like a submarine, just done 2 halves of it, then you just glue them together and remove the seam line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was tiny. But that's coming out this year again. And as I said, the other one, if I just grab it here on my bench, whoops, this will collapse. That's the Land Rover that they released.
I've got one of those.
It's awful.
Yeah,
looks older than I am.
Yeah. So I picked that up cheap from at the Scale Model Show just for but 1993, you know, and then they lost. I think they went bust, and then Airfix bought the tool in. So, but the new Land Rover, I've seen somebody built it at our local model club. He's done a fantastic job on it. Also, on the Hella ones, if I'm right, underneath, if you build the 148 in, the other one, the diff's wrong in it. Is that right? And the gearbox is wrong underneath.
I'm gonna have a look.
Here we go. Right, this here was made by FX. Do you remember these?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a flower dispenser, but it's got we can see it there. It's got is it made by Airfix plastic? Yeah, that's the one. Apparently, the gearbox is wrong and the diff's wrong in it or something. Too far back, apparently. When you build it, it's too far back. Surprised you've not built it.
No, the diffs are all right because they're molded into the floor with the axles.
What about the
It all looks okay to me.
That's right. Well, somebody mentioned it at the Scale Model Show. They said, look at this. Airfix has got it right on this one, on the starter set one, the 143rd. Maybe it was the other size one, not the 148. Maybe
it looks right to me. I mean, the dips are molded into the floor and they're in line with the axles. So,
right, okay. I thought there was something wrong about it. It's like the gearbox. I mean, in the middle, it should be further forward. It's at the back, more in the middle. Maybe that's the 132nd one. I can't remember now, but he was saying, yeah.
I don't want to open it because it's unopened. Look. How old? This must be 30 years old, mustn't it?
Oh, it's been tooled by so many different manufacturers as well, not just Hella, I think. But I just don't. I think Hella's got a lot. If Go2B had gone, you know, we had that guy come on do a video about it and say, you know, we're going to do this and do that. I've not seen.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
We did an Airfix and chill. We watched it it through. You know, it just seems so shame that everything that's been released so far in 2023 has been model sets or anything. I reckon all the rest of it that's due out won't be coming out till 2024 now.
Yeah.
None of it's been released yet. It's
don't they not bag their sprues as well? Don't they just chuck all the sprues in the box loose?
They're not bagged, are they? But they have a top opening box.
They're going to be in, eh?
Yeah. Well, this is it. They're in a top box. Crappy box.
Yeah, great. You're not going to lose any parts because it's probably going to be sealed in cellophane. But
well, knowing the way the French go on strike when they build the kits
off the tree, I mean, yeah.
But it's German now. Do you know, interestingly enough, Glow 2B was, or let's say originated from the old Heller Germany distributor. So it's like the servant has become the master. It's the whole Darth Vader story.
Well, that's not so bad if they do that, Moss. If they've got the sprue, but then look how deep that box is. They're going to be all.
Yeah.
That's Amazon will have fun with that if they post that through the door.
Yeah, Ace Ventura.
Amazon don't care.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because I saw Pete Oscar Model. I saw his review of that bus, and it was all bent. The clear parts were all scratched. So I got mine straight open. Perfect. It's perfect.
Plus, I got it made in India.
No.
Just looking at Glow 2B, though, I can't see anything about them being associated with the Chinese. They seem to be a wholly owned German distributor.
Well, I thought they had something to do with Trumpeter. I think Nigel's right.
They distribute. They're the largest, one of the largest distributors in Europe. They distribute thousands of different kits, including Trumpeter. But there's nothing here. It seems I've just been looking at various business things. There's nothing about them being purchased by a Chinese company.
Well, it's funny, isn't it, that Heller brought out a 1/16 Stug last year, and it was a Trumpeter kit in a Heller box.
Oh,
they did the Panzer III 16th scale. That was only released by Hobby Boss, I think, this year. They released it through Heller 2019, I think it was.
Wasn't the Panzer III a Trumpeter kit?
Yeah, it's all the same thing.
Yeah. Years and years. That was one of their first 16th scale tanks, wasn't it? Or was that the Panzer IV?
Panzer IV. That rings a bell. Oh.
Made in Poland, this is.
That's made. So, in theory, that should be a good kit then. It's made in Poland.
It is a good kit.
Yeah. When are you going to start building up then, Nigel?
I probably won't. I bought that because generally what you find with Revell, they go away and they're either gone for a very long time or they never come back and their prices just go.
Gotcha.
I've got some of those Arados in there. I paid £10 for one of them. They're worth about £70 now.
I should have picked up more of those submarines now. I know how much they're worth from Airfix. Those Airfix submarines?
Yeah. Trafalgar.
I picked mine up for £6. Right? Yeah, 55, 60 quid on eBay they're going for now.
Yeah.
And they sell.
Crazy.
So I don't know whether I've actually I bought mine and I bought some photo etch for it as well. So I've got some photo etch to put on this one. Right. Yeah, it's simple. It's a simple, £6 I paid. It's a second-hand kit anyway, but that's basically it. It's the submarine, but it's in 3 parts, not 2. So it's not like 2 hours put together. You do the bottom part first, then put the top on, which is interesting why they've done that, because I see why they've done it. If you wanted to do this as a diorama with it in water, you don't have to bother putting the bottom half in. Just like just sink it in, and then just cut the prop in half, whatever, or the jet, or the pump, the pressure pump they put on them, didn't they? The first one had the prop, and then they went for the silent model. But there's only one left now, and then the rest of that's it. That Trafalgar class is no more. They've only got one left in operation. All the other 8 have gone. So, but I'm wondering if the last one does get decommissioned next year or 2025, whether Airfix would release this just as a gift set. Because all you need is 2 paints, black and grey, and then you're done, isn't it? It's. But yeah, so I should have picked up more of them if I see them. If they're going cheap, they're flocking on eBay for £60. But yeah, of course, if I want to build this one just for the crack. So I don't build many submarines because I just think they're boring. But there's a bit of detail on it, and I actually want to practice masking up freehand. And try and do the rubber tiles in all different colours, and try and do like an algae and green, and I just have a little play with it really. But I like them to re-release the Trafalgar class sub in the new airfix plastic they're using. Yeah, we won't talk about the plastic because I'm pissed anyway about that. But hang on, the Land Rover had a transfer box, or maybe he saw and that was misread on the Land Rover. All right, okay. What's I saying there? So Glow 2B is listed a 22 release of a monochrome 2022 tool 1200 Yamato ship.
Yeah.
So that's the Yamato,
that's
is it?
Glow 2B labeled, yeah.
Glow 2B, is it? Right.
The Glow 2B kit is different than the monochrome kit. So the plastic's the same, but the instructions and the decals are different.
Okay.
So I don't know what it's like. If you buy that Yamato in Europe, you get Glow 2B. If you buy it in America, it's gallery. Yeah. If you buy it in anywhere else, it's monochrome. So it's like Trumpeter have made a kit but didn't want to put their name on it. It's really strange.
Well, this is exactly what they did with that Panzer III that you mentioned, because they produced a kit. I don't think they ever actually released it as a Trumpeter kit, did they? And then it came out as a Hella kit in 2022, and then they released it through monochrome.
Yeah.
I think this year, like end of last year, beginning of this year. And that company, Zhongcheng Yate, do that a lot.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, all these companies release tooling or release models of other manufacturers' tooling and put their own take on it, and it depends on how you want it. I know people were moaning that Airfix was selling Academy tanks 10 quid more than what Academy was selling them for, but you're getting their design scheme and probably, and their instructions, where Academy instructions aren't brilliant, you get the Airfix instructions instead.
If you're an experienced model, you get £10 for different instructions.
Yeah, I get that. But still, I do like Airfix instructions. Hella's good instructions. Hella's got good instructions. Who was it? The other day I was watching a manufacturer, I think it's ICM. They now do CAD instructions. So you watch it on video and it shows you going there and then there. And it's I thought that was phenomenal. Yeah. Yeah, John, no, they didn't. The U-boat wasn't. It's not Airfix tooling. They've only ever released one tooling of a submarine, and it's that. They've never done any other. So somebody said they did release a Stingray, from Jerry Anderson, but you could only buy it from Lions Bay. I think that's a lie. No, that they wouldn't just create a tooling.
They did the gas boot tooling of the U-boat, but I don't know who it was by.
That Stingray was probably an MPC kit, because Airfix and MPC used to be together, didn't they?
Yeah, but
they're gone now.
MPC is still around, aren't they? Yeah. Aren't they owned by that other company in America that's bought AMT, Lindbergh, and all that?
Round two.
Remember Johan? Remember Johan cars?
Oh yeah, man.
Get those in Kmart.
Yeah, they call him Johan. I guess some people call him Johan, Johan or Johan, and you never knew what color plastic you were going to get. And those they can fetch a pretty penny here. Some old Johan kits. Yeah.
HS modeling, the Das Boot sub was Revell.
It's Mirage Hobby.
Was it Mirage Hobby?
Yeah.
That rings a bell. It wasn't their kit. I did a video on it, so I must know it was Mirage Hobby, actually. Yeah. Because the Stingray was a Kickmaster tool. So there wasn't an Airfix tooling. So the only actual tooled submarine that Airfix have ever done is actually, so I was right. I didn't think Stingray was, they wouldn't just do a tooling to sell it through Lions Made and you buy a cake and you can buy this Stingray kit. It kind of happened. Not happening that. So, yeah, but that's the only submarine they've ever done. And I don't think they did an half bad job on it. I just wish that it had more detail. I wish that, if you look at the picture, if I put it up, put the picture up a minute so you can see. Let me get myself bigger. Right. So there it is. You can see the pictures like an actual photograph, and you can see there's a lot of what's it called? Plastic, rubber tiles on it, isn't there? I just wish that they had added those rubber tires as like recessed panel lines that
Is
you
it
could.
rubber tiles or is it just stress skin?
It's rubber tiles.
Is it?
I'm sure it's rubber tiles because one of the guys who, one of the lads who comments regular on my channel, is it David or somebody? I'll find the comment again and look for it. He said that they would lose the rubber patches and underneath would be rusty steel underneath.
It did, yeah.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. So they may still have that Stingray then. If Airfix bought the Kitmaster range of locomotives, they may have the Stingray tooling. That would be interesting because they could release that not as Stingray. They could release that as Ray Sting. You know what I mean? They could release. I don't know why they don't bother. All this licensing. Why they've done it already with the KT. They've re-released the lorry, the truck now as general service wagon. Why can't they release that tool just so where it just looks a bit like it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, science fiction submarine.
Yes.
Well-known science fiction submarine.
It's popular.
Yeah, it's probably time.
Science unter Wasser Vassal.
Unter Wasserbot.
Yes.
So Monuments has gone to bed. Nice to see you. I'll be feeling better, mate. So Everett's got that from the locomotives. Fair play. All UK submarines are covered in anechoic tiles. Isn't that rubber?
It's usually synthetic. It's a synthetic rubber, but it's like got little holes inside it, so it's like a sponge kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that sonar comes in and then gets dispersed, so it doesn't reflect as much. It's like stealth coating for subs.
Stealth,
yeah,
for sub, yeah.
But it's similar to the tiles on the space shuttle, except for acoustic deflection. Deflection, I think I should say, rather than heat shield. Yeah. So probably made out of silicon as well then, yeah? Like silicon. Oh, yeah. All right, Craig, while you're on, I'm a submariner. I got bollocked for saying this. If you're a submariner, I've got family, right, naval. They call that the conning tower. What do you call it? I've been told it's a fin or a sail now, but would you know that as the conning tower?
The British call it the conning tower and the Americans call it the sail.
Right.
Yeah, sail.
But somebody said they don't even call it that. They call it the fin.
I've never heard that.
But
that's just me.
There's somebody comments on it saying that they don't call it the conning tower. It's never called that. It's called it. Hang on. So it's a conning tower. Conning tower is inside the fin. Ah. So there you go. Hornby got their fingers slapped over trying to use a name already licensed to someone else. Okay.
That happened to Phil Flory, didn't it? When Phil Flory first started, he called himself Pro Modeler. And Monogram got really funny because Monogram do a special range of kits, don't they, called Pro Modeler. And they got really funny. In fact, it was Revell USA that got funny with him. And he swore he would never buy another Revell kit, but he did.
You should have just said I was spelling it with 2 L's.
Yeah, why not?
Is one.
I'll tell you who's a bugger at the moment is the Enterprise brand. You know, the rental cars? You know, if you name your company Emotive, eMove, Electric, they come down on you hard. If you go and try and trademark anything with the letter E before it, they come down hard. You can't use it, or they put real harsh stipulations.
Wow.
In their thing, yeah, they've trademarked the E, which is ridiculous.
Right. He got the name because he served on the Enterprise. He was on the. That's why he called it Enterprise. He was like an old vet. So he,
Yeah.
you know, he.
You know about
obviously
Eleanor?
trademarked the name for his company, but I mean the Enterprise. Come on, man! It's
Well, the Enterprise is trademarked to CBS anyway, because obviously for Star Trek.
Yeah, and
I never knew that. And Submariner is pronounced submarine with an R at the end. So Submariner, not Submariner, it's Submariner.
That may be the case in America. I don't think that's right over here, is it?
probably in America, yeah.
This is an English broadcast, God damn it.
Hold a minute, we're going down the decal route here, isn't it?
I got a bollocking the other day because I said glue and not cement.
Yeah, I got that one before. I know.
I mean, it's neither, actually. So,
Bonding agent.
All right. So, Moss, any auction tonight? Folks have been asking.
Are they asking for auctions?
well, Nigel said he's not going to overbuild that shit.
James, look what came in the post today.
He doesn't want to part away with anything else.
Another book. You going to put that deal on your channel soon, there, Nigel?
I know what we could do this in an auction. Let me auction that one off. Start
We'll
bidding
auction
it.
off,
I'm joking.
We've got £2 already, Nige. £2.
Me and my wingnut wings. Oh no.
How many have you got, Nigel? How many wingnut wings have you got?
20.
20 of them.
That's your retirement fund.
I keep trying to buy more. I don't know why, because I think, I'm going to build one and look at it and you think, it's 300 quid. Put the topic on.
All right. Anyone got a 1/24th mosquito they want to sell me? Because I've seen the prices of them going at scale model shows now for nigh on 200 nicker.
Yeah.
200 quid. Because that's the 1990s tooling as well, isn't it? I think Little History had a problem with the naysales on them, but everything else has been pretty good on it.
The tires are horrible.
Are they?
Yeah, they're horrible.
Did you build it?
So Taggers has a point.
I get that, yeah. Well, yeah, I get that. Well, if you'd like to know, my new iPhone turned up today. So, new iPhone. So
Nice one.
I'll be filming
there you go.
with this at the moment. But, yeah, so, because my other one's dying. Pardon?
Let's see your screensaver again.
My screensaver is my little dog, Toby.
There's mine.
Oh, that's delightful. So delightful. It was only about 6 months old there. He's a lot bigger and knockier now. So that's it. He's but
Like you did, bigger and knockier.
a bit more knocky. Yes, knocky. What a word that is. But so Nunu's got a new camera as well, haven't you, Nunu?
Yes, indeed, I have.
Nice one.
What did you go for in the end?
I went with Sony camcorder.
Oh, fair play.
Which is doing a great job. I released a video today, and everyone noticed the difference. So
Yeah.
this one hopefully will be the one that will get the money for the proper one.
Yeah. So yeah, I went and bought myself a new iPhone for the channel this time, and then then go on.
This one is not that expensive, Moss. And the thing you were saying about focusing,
Yeah,
you can do with this one fairly easy.
send me a link across then. I need to do something.
Yeah.
Because I canny. As I said, I love my iPhone and I've used it very. I just wanted, and also, I want a camera that I can actually have like the screen faces. So the nice cameras here, but there's no screen. So when you point at you can't see. But apparently, because this is USB-C, you can now mirror monitor. But I've got to find a 7.5-inch monitor then, or a 5.5 inch to do it. But that's the problem you've got. The front camera is not as good as these. You get all these three here. So when you're filming yourself, you might not be even in shot. But
you can do it on the computer, even with this old iPhone 10.
Yeah. But when you're out and about filming yourself at model shows, I want to be able to. Oh, by the way, thank you about the insurance.
Yeah.
Checked up on mine, but because I've got mine insured for discos and stuff, I'm covered. But you are right. You are. If you go to a model show and create content,
It's work.
it's work.
Yeah. Only if you're monetized.
Yeah, if you're monetized. So yeah, definitely one of them. It's good if I checked, but yeah, I'm all covered anyway because I'm self-employed anyway, so it's registered self-employed business use anyway. So, but yeah, it's all good. But I need to wait. What am I saying here? How can you get me Immortals get stickers from you guys? Just become a member, and I'll send you stickers and my zines and a woven patch. We might have to wait. I've only got 5 Moz patches left, but I'll send some more if you want some. And man, you do stickers as well, don't you, Alex? You do stickers, don't you?
Patches, I just stole everything from Moss, so yeah.
Yeah. It's great. You've got to do it as well, Nigel. Do challenges so people can earn little woven patches off you, like, you know.
I need to get somebody to help me, I think, because it's been a beautiful day today. I've been out the door hardly, other than taking Jess. I've been on the computer all day doing shit.
Yeah. Gets too much sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I'm building the Hobby Boss Bearcat. So
Bearcat? What's a
Bearcat?
Bearcat?
Oh, shut up, you tart.
Right.
Yeah, it makes me laugh because it's an F8F 1B, but it's got the 2B on the front. It's a box art. It's got the longer fin at the back, and it's got the cowling or spread up there. But it's,
You've been a rivet counter.
And yeah, I am.
Yes, he is. Unfortunately,
we need a decent Bearcat. Hobby Boss effort is mediocre, but good detail on it. Nice detail. Fit. Yeah. It could do with an airfix makeover or Tamiya makeover, really. And also, no matter what I try, can you see that? It doesn't go. It's not middle. That there is. It's just up slightly. I can't. Even though you try, you put it on the fire. You glue it to the what's it called? The firewall.
Okay.
And it's not center. The actual. It's so if you look at it, it's rated points slightly up.
All I can see, Moss, is it looks like a little smiley face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Virus.
so yeah. And then I've had to fill in a lot of the seams. I had to fill out the seams and stuff. But yeah, it's a good model. I'm loving building this model because I'm not filming it.
Don't blame the kit. Always drive fit. Who was it wrote that? Oh, Moss.
It's me. Not blaming the kit. But when I did drive fit, it's still yeah. Even though I did drive fit, it's still wank. All right. Anyways.
So you dry fitted it, found it didn't fit, and glued it on anyway. Wrong, and you blamed the kit.
I've had to fill in the seams.
Always try fit. It's a tight fit.
I am saying, Marjo, I am loving building this kit because I'm not fucking filming it. I'm actually building it without filming it.
Yeah,
it's an absolute pleasure. Do you not find that when you're filming a build, it's hard work?
I've done
more concentrating on the lens angle and what you're seeing on the screen than what actually
done nothing today. I'm going to have to build something off camera because I'm getting really pissed off with it.
Yeah,
I built a submarine today, Moss.
Nigel.
Did you?
It's really
Yeah,
what did you say, John?
It took me about an hour. It was the ICM. ICM sent me the 1/72 scale of the little mulch midget submarine, 1 man, 2 torpedo submarine. Yeah, it's got more than 3 pieces because it's got 2 torpedoes and it's got a full interior. Oh my god, I would not have sat in that thing. It's a death. No. But yeah, it goes together really easily because it's like 1 hour. You're done.
How big is it?
What, the Bearcat?
Maybe that big.
Yeah.
It's a shame they didn't do it in 35th, isn't it?
Yeah, 35th it would be good. But still wouldn't see anything inside.
Did you have to, for them to send you that, Did you have to ask for it, or did they just send it to you?
No, they just sent it.
Because OCO have sent me stuff, but I've always had to ask for it. They don't just send me stuff.
Huh.
Have you got like on a reviewers list or something, or?
You haven't got the special relationship that I have with the ladies there.
What's her name?
Oh, is that it?
Don't disclose the
One of
secret,
my-
Alex.
Valeria is the manager.
Valeria, I haven't dealt with Valeria. No, I'll have to get in touch
well.
with them again.
Yeah.
Because they sent me
I
their
would,
that free of charge, which was probably their most expensive kit. So I'd have thought they'd have carried on sending me other stuff, but they haven't.
But then again, Italeri, I did their starter set, you know, the full complete starter set, got the most amazing reviews for it. They never even asked me how I got on. They never responded and said, "Oh, how did the video go?" Even though I told them I've put it up live, they never got back to me and said, "Oh, what's the reaction? What's it like?" And I would have said, "I think it's brilliant. You've got Vallejo paint, you've got proper cement in it. The sprue cutters are a bit nay, but there you go. But even though they're not that good at cutting, you've given us a sanding pad to sand off the nub at the end off the tree, you know." But nothing back from them, nothing at all. So,
No.
but I did say to her, I did email them and say, "Look, I see you've got a starter set. You know, when are they being released in this country?" And they sent me that one over. And I, you know, I did a good video. It got loads of views for me, and I never got anything back off them, which I thought was a bit strange. They would have liked to have seen. So, but like I say, I get sent stuff all the time. I've got that engine to build. You know, the real build a little engine. I haven't got round to doing it because there's some bits that were wrong. I've had to send them out to me.
Yeah.
And I've got that laser cutter that I'm still got upstairs that I haven't done a complete video review on because it's learning the software. Actually, learning software is 80% of owning a laser. Because that laser cutter, anyone can own a laser cutter machine, but trying to learn that software.
Average Bond villain can own a laser cutting machine.
Yeah, but
I've heard people say they're going to get a 3D printer and make copies of their kit parts. Oh yeah, how you can do that then? You're going to show it the kit part and say, "Make one of these, please." No.
Did any of you watch Pramjit on Flory Models when they asked him about what about 3D printers? He says there's no future for them really because when you print it, you've got all. You know, if you're doing something thin, and you end up with all the what are they called? You know, all the
print lines. The print lines.
No, not print lines. So say you do like a 3D resin in a machine, you've got all these strands, haven't you? Keeping it all in position and stuff.
Yeah,
it's
raw material.
Yeah, that's right. He said if you're doing a wing, it'll be a nightmare because you have to trim it all off and then sand it all, then you lose all the detail. You can't really do recessed panel lines too well on 3D resin. Is that right?
No.
You reckon that you'll be able to
I think he's got a bit of vested interest there.
Well, surely if you did a wing, this is the inside and this is the outside, you would print it like that. So all the legs are coming off the inside. You just snap it off and that'll be it.
Yeah.
I don't even have a 3D printer, but that's to me just logic.
Right, okay. Well,
you've got to make sure you train out the excess resin, otherwise the parts explode.
But the other problem with it though is, and Alex will know this because he's got one, when you do thin parts, they do tend to bow, don't they?
Yeah, but then there's ways around that as well. So I use a combination of resins. So one of them is a slightly flexible one, so it just stops the brittleness. And then I printed some 1/35th scale Morris. Is it Morris matte? Whatever it's called.
Yes.
Marston matte. That was it. Somebody told me.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly thin, and that came out okay.
Right.
Fair enough.
I mean, the technology of that's moved on quite a lot. Now you've got like 8K screens. You know, the step resolution you can get is it's like 20 microns or something.
I mean, some of this stuff in here, we're going to review it tomorrow. It's just like unbelievable.
You do all right with resin, though. People sending you stuff, don't you, mate?
Sorry?
You do all right out of resin parts and aftermarket. People just send it to you by the bucket load, don't they?
Yeah. I do have a lot of stuff. The trouble is they send you the stuff and they all want to see it being used.
Yeah.
You have to go and buy the kit and build it on camera.
Yeah.
Which I've said I'll do to Peter with this one because this is that 32nd scale Messerschmitt. It was 26 quid. But and I've already got the A20, so that's okay. But if somebody sends me an engine for a Qatari Spitfire, for instance, I don't want to go and spend £80 just to show me fitting their resin engine they've just sent me.
Yeah, I get that.
Like you say, you do reviews for some people, and they don't even come back to you and say thanks for doing the review. It's like,
And again, I'm in two minds about it because like I said about the Italeri one, I was expecting them to come back to me and say, "Oh, can you do some more?" Didn't, but but then see, I buy mine most of the time because I want to be an honest review. Saying I've bought this kit. This is my review on this kit that I've bought. I
don't worry about it. I just do it out honest anyway.
Likewise.
Alex reviews kits now, and he just says the only place you could buy this is in this shop. So
yeah, don't buy this direct; it'll be rubbish. But you buy them from me.
He does his own starter sets now, airfix starter set, but it comes with man's model moments glue.
Complete tool set. Yeah.
Complete tool set.
I do man's model moments tool sets.
Well, it's gone 10 o'clock. Thank you, everyone here on the panel tonight, for joining us here. Like I said, this is shared out to all the other channels here as well. So, I want to say big thank you because this one tonight is at 102 likes. Nice. So that's really good going. That is. Thank you so much. It wasn't a hate on Revell. Like I said, we're just looking at the futures of these companies, and I just think those two companies are really. They need to find a way. They need to find something. I still think Revell should crack on and just keep on doing German stuff. Like Airfix seems to be focusing on English planes, RAF, all that. Revell needs to say, right, we're German. We've got nothing to worry about, even though to me, people going about, oh yeah, you're building scale models of planes that kill people. So, but no, all about the technology that goes in behind it. These people that created this, and and maybe Revell needs to go back to their roots and start retooling all these magnificent planes. And they were Messerschmitts. When you hear a Messerschmitt or a Focke-Wulf go beside you or a Bearcat go beside you, you just grin because of the power and the sound. And they were created back in the 30s. Maybe that's what they need to do. Go back to what they need to do. And like Tamiya, they still release all their Japanese stuff, don't they? You see what they do now.
They're not bloody doing anything at the moment, are they? It just fees on in it, but whoopee shit, thanks.
Yeah.
Can I have a Hellcat or a Bowfighter or something, please?
Yeah.
It's gonna be 200 quid, but it'll be absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah. But Tamiya. Anyway, thanks all for watching, and we'll be back next week. Hopefully you'll be all here for us, and have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care, all. And
see you guys. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.